Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan as we're presented by LeBear's Casino. TK joining us over here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on this Wednesday edition of Sports Shorts Daily. I am at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, LeBear's is our title sponsor. Stop on by there. Go to the sports book, breakfast, lunch, and dinner over at LeBear's. And for those special events, 18 steak, no better anniversary, birthday, holiday, whatever. They also have an Easter brunch coming up at 18 steak, a Sunday Easter brunch. You don't want to miss it. It's fantastic. Today on Sports Shorts, we're going to talk about LSU baseball. The Tigers win yesterday over North Dakota State University. They play today. It was scheduled to be at 1. Somebody over there convinced them that 4 p.m. on Wednesday would be a better time due to weather. I don't know. Tommy, the Weather Channel app is telling TK 4 might be worse than 1 today. But anyway, 4 p.m., a little afternoon action between North Dakota State and LSU. You can check it out on the ESPN Plus app. I will be on the call with Lynn Rollins for that one. It's the final regular season game before LSU starts up SEC play. This weekend, the Tigers will be at Mississippi State, arguably a top 3 spot in America to watch college baseball, especially when LSU and Mississippi State do battle. There will be a tremendous crowd in Stark Vegas for that one. We'll give you one Starkville joke in a little bit as well in honor of Skip Bertman and LSU and Mississippi State playing this weekend. Tigers had a big win yesterday over Texas. They've got Ole Miss and softball coming up. We'll get into that. LSU men's and women's basketball, some news that LSU men noon Thursday, they take on Mississippi State and Nashville at the SEC tournament. The women are waiting around till selection Sunday. Pelicans are a 6.5-point favorite at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and tons of news in the NFL. But first, we'll start with LSU baseball, Tommy. Tuesday, Wednesday series. You don't see many of those. They play North Dakota State twice. LSU baseball right now. Yesterday, the story was Brady Neal. He was 3 for 3. He was outstanding. Jones had a big oppo homer. Outside of that, another game against a midweek opponent who came in with a starting pitcher with an ERA over 9, and the Tigers didn't get double-digit hits.
Ronnie, I was watching the game. You and Lynn did a great job on the call, and I'll be watching again today. From a selfish standpoint, 4 o'clock works better for me today than 1 o'clock, okay? So just old TK being selfish. But, and I was wondering, I was in some conversation with people. You know how soft pitchers that tend to give LSU and good teams fits? Is that what's happening here, that they just, cling? But Kling's swinging and missing by this much. I mean, he's not even close to the ball. Jared Jones can't hit a breaking ball, but I don't know why they threw him a fastball, but they did. But no, I don't know if it's not time to hit the panic button. I mean, LSU's 15-2. Okay, they're 15-2. They're one of the best teams in the country. But I think now that SEC play is right, around the corner in Starkville this weekend, let's hope that can change. And they got so many guys that even if a Kling doesn't hit, you should have enough other guys in the lineup that can produce. They only left 6 on base. That's been my thing through the first 17 games. Too many left on base. Only left 6. What was Milazzo doing running? That had to be a missed sign by the hit and run.
Missed sign by.
They're not going to. Yeah, you said it on the program. They're not going to straight steal Milazzo. He can barely outrun you and me. But So anyway, hey. Leave it to Jay Johnson. Defer to him. I told a friend on the phone this morning. I said, Jay Johnson knows what he's doing. He'll get it figured out. We're putting Neal in the outfield because he wants his bat in the lineup. That's what everybody noticed when the lineup came out yesterday. I don't think it's time to hit the panic button. Let's see what happens today if they play or whatever. And then, the true and Mississippi State's not great. Okay, they're not the team that won the national title a couple of years ago. So you should be able to go in Starkville and get 2 out of 3, if not all 3. But you're going to have to hit the ball, get the timely hit, as Coach Bertman always likes to say, and don't make mistakes.
Tommy, how many SEC wins do you think the Tigers are going to have this year?
Man, I got to believe 18 or 19, huh?
All right. Well, I want to have your prediction tomorrow. We'll go over some. Last night after the game, Buzzy, Doug, and I went to walk-ons, and we do annually, and we sit down right before the start of SEC play, and we go over each player, how many what's their batting average we think is going to be, how many homers do we think they're going to hit, and then the team SEC. So I want to get your take, and then I take a screenshot of it, and then at the end of the season we compare and see how far off we were. Look, right now Kling is hitting 235, Bingham's hitting 280. Went the other way for him yesterday, but it's still so early. Averages a swing big time, but Kling is hitting 235. Tommy White had a single to right. Travinsky, had a couple of hits. Milam tweaked his knee a little bit, started maybe he's coming back down to reality just a little. This lineup last year, what do you think LSU hit last year in SEC play as an offense? The 29 games during the regular season of SEC play. What do you think LSU hit as a team last year?
I'm going to make a guess at 315.
280. Okay, they hit 280, right?
With Dylan Cruz.
But for the year, they hit 308 or something like that for the whole season. Okay, I mean, Omaha, everything. Okay, they hit 3. This year's team is hitting 305 going into yesterday. It probably stayed about the same. Okay, so think about it. They hit 308 last year, and for 29 of those games, they hit 280. So that means non-conference, postseason, whatever, they clearly, were hitting 320, or something like that, right? So the fact that this team is hitting like 305, last year when they hit 280 in the SEC as a team, they had a guy hit 405 in Cruz with 8 homers, and they had a guy in Tommy White hit 361 with 10 homers. They'd only had 2 other players that hit over 300 last year. Joe Bear was just a tick over 300 with 18 starts in SEC play, and Travinsky with only 8 starts in SEC play was hitting like high threes. Okay, so if that's what they did last year, they hit 280 with arguably the greatest lineup in the history of LSU baseball and all that stuff. They don't have Cruz. They don't have last year's Tommy White. This team's going to hit 267 in SEC play probably. And so it's going to get worse before it gets better. And, they're going to have to play differently. They did yesterday. They went a first and third play yesterday, and they stole home. They had they had a bunt. They had a hit and run. I mean, they're going to have to play traditional baseball because they're not just going to sit back and watch all these homers. They only have do you think Hayden Travinsky's going to hit double-digit homers? He's only got 3, right now through 17 games. Do you think Tommy White's going to hit 15, 20 homers? He hit 20 plus last year. He's only got 2 through 17 games. Brady Neal, 3 homers. So how many guys are going to really hit home? You're going to be a fraction. They hit 100. They had 152 or something, 140 something homers last year. They ain't getting to 100. So it's a different team this year. They're going to have to go out and pitch their ass off, which they have. The starting pitching this year. The starters this year, their team ERA is the starting pitching for all 17 of their games. Their ERA is under 1.5. I mean, that's incredible, and that's what they're going to.
That's what they're going to have to hang their hat on. You make lots of good points right there about the home runs, the hitting, and it's a different team, and they got to find ways to win. Small ball, I don't know. Like you said, the first and third last night, and they're not afraid to let. The shortstop bunt a little bit. So, we're just going to have to let it play out. Again, I'm going to defer to Jay Johnson. He's going to get it figured out, but it's not going to be this team last year where you just any half inning they could, put a crooked number on the board. That doesn't look like the case this year.
All right, so LSU baseball today at 4:00. We'll delve a lot more into LSU baseball tomorrow because we'll be on tomorrow instead of Friday. We'll get back to that, and we'll have today's game to talk about. And we'll talk about Savannah Bananas tomorrow as well. We'll tell you about what's going on over there Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the box, as all of those are sold out. Ole Miss softball this weekend. LSU had an 11 a.m. little breakfast at the Tiger Park, and they beat Texas. That was their biggest win of the year. Now they're back in SEC play, still undefeated, hadn't lost a game this year. Only team in the country to do that. LSU men's basketball noon against Mississippi State in Nashville. Tommy, in your opinion, does LSU have to win tomorrow against Mississippi State in order to punch their ticket to the NIT, or do you think they're in no matter what?
I think the 9-9 league play will get them in, but certainly if they can beat State, who they beat by 20 like three and a half weeks ago, if they can beat State tomorrow, then I think they're, that cements the NIT for them. And certainly if they would win another one, absolutely. But yeah, I think you got to, make sure. Don't leave it up to everybody else and what surprise team does this and surprise team does that. The SEC tournament actually starts tonight. There's actually a couple games tonight if you want to get to your basketball fix in. But LSU, that's tomorrow's noon game's the first game of the day, so should be on time. Tournaments tend to get off the clock a little bit with being on time. So I think if they beat Mississippi State, who they beat by 20, I think the NIT is definitely going to have them on the list.
LSU women are waiting around to the selection show on Sunday night. It's expected that they're going to be a second seed. And they will be hosting. I mean, for sure they'll be hosting because they'll be a top 16 team. So they'll host the first and second round. But whether, what their seed is, I think second seed seems right.
Well, they were number 8 in the final poll. So if you just do the math there, that means they're a 2 seed, And I think with the fact that they lost the close game to undefeated South Carolina in the SEC championship, and, they're going to know they got to put them in there at the 2 seed. Obviously they can be worse than 3, but I think it should be 2, and I think it will be 2.
Defending national champs, SEC, schedule. I think probably push comes to shove, they get that 2 seed, and no doubt it will be a raucous, packed first, second round at the PMAC. Pels in action tonight and Friday night at home. I'll be at the Friday night matchup when they take on the Clippers. But tonight it's the Cavs. They are a 6.5-point favorite. Pels playing good basketball right now. Let's talk NFL for a minute. Lots of news yesterday, Tommy. Walk us through the LSU players.
Wow, man, it just was happening fast and furious. Patrick Queen, linebacker, leaves the Ravens, stays in the division, goes over to the Steelers. That'll be interesting. Danielle Hunter signs with the Texans, who also got Joe Burrow's teammate, Joe Mixon. Texans, that's going to be the Lions of next year. That's going to be the team that's going to, come, they planted the seed like the Lions did 2 years ago, and now they're going to make a lot of noise because their quarterback's tremendous. So the Texans did that. Justin Jefferson, was hoping to have, Cousins in Minnesota, but he goes to the NFC South and the Falcons. Vikings have said they won't trade Justin Jefferson, so we'll have to see what happens to that. And then Lloyd Cushenberry, touchdown guy, leaves the Broncos, signs a big deal, $50 million guaranteed with the Tennessee Titans. So you interviewed Lloyd many a time. I met him and his father years ago out at Dutchtown High School. Good, solid people. So happy for Lloyd Cushenberry to get that big deal.
Yeah, not many better teammates than Cushenberry. Just ask Joe Burrow, who absolutely loved him. Good stuff for him. Super happy for him. I mean, my goodness, center's getting paid. You got to love it. You got to love it. Somewhere Todd McClure is probably smiling. Patrick Queen, the pride of Livonia, a friend of mine's his agent. Glad for Patrick Queen, going to be a Steeler. That'll make Doug Ireland happy. The Steelers is Doug Ireland's favorite team. Dante Jackson headed to Pittsburgh as well. There was a big trade. He's with the Panthers, the former second-round pick, defensive back out of LSU. They traded Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver. So now you got Jackson and Queen going to be over there with the Steelers on defense. Danielle Hunter, I mean, he's like the Aaron Hill had the big year right before free agency. Aaron Hill kind of always did that a couple times in his career. Had the big year, got paid. Danielle Hunter had been hurt in 20 and 21 and whatever, banged up in those couple years, and all of a sudden, bam! Last year had a huge year, and he's getting paid. So Hunter, the former LSU end, who only had like 4.5 sacks in his LSU career. Guy's got like, I don't know, 60, 70 career sacks or something like that in the NFL.
I mean, he's got the body of a Greek god. I mean, his body, and it has stayed that way at the Vikings. He's so athletic. I mean, he went 11 or 12 sacks last year for the Vikings. I mean, the dude can play in a game when you got to affect the quarterback. The Texans getting Hunter. I'm telling you, the Texans are going to make a lot of noise next year.
TK, I'm gonna have to jump off. I've got something I got to take care of. Tell us about the Saints signing Willie Gay, and then tell us about Tremonti's. I know we'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll deep dive into all of these topics plus new ones. But Saints finally make a little name for themselves, and it's a Super Bowl champion.
Well, they got a linebacker, Willie Gay, who's a Mississippi State guy who I've always liked. I remember him back at Mississippi State doing a good job. So he's going to join the linebacker crew for the Saints. That's a big, big thing. Still a young guy, still got a lot of mileage left on him. And I think that's great that the Saints got Willie Gay. And they're going to, Chase Young, big defensive end, they're going to talk to him supposedly. And today's the first day of the new year fiscally for the NFL. So you're going to see a lot of stuff today. Hey, don't forget Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Lasagna is the lunch special today. I want you to check that out. Crawfish Friday and Saturday. Boiled and live. They got plenty at Tremonti's. Give them a call. You got to book them. You got to reserve them so they don't run out. As Ronnie said, we're going to be back tomorrow. Do like and share this show. That helps us out tremendously when you like and share the show. And as always, we're presented by the LeBears Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. We're back tomorrow morning for a Thursday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily. We'll talk to you then. Have a good day, everyone.